I've been remodeling homes for over 20 years, and for the last 10 years I've been working with contractors around the country on their marketing. And one of the benefits of running a marketing company is I work with hundreds of contractors and I get to see a lot of data across the board. And as somewhat of a nerd, I really enjoy looking at all these numbers. AI allows me to do data analysis much easier and put together cool reports like this for you. So for today, we're looking at 31 different remodeling companies around the country and looking at how much leads cost on the main Google sources. So we have like Google Organic, Google Local Services Ads, and Google Ads. So to start it off, we're measuring leads between $23 and almost $1,000. And here's the spread. So we got Google Local Services Ads at the top, ranging from $23 to $221. The average is $144 per lead. For Google Ads, these are just for phone calls only. The average is $272. So these companies that we measured, these 31 different companies, are paying $272 per phone call from Google Ads. If we look at phone calls and contact forms from Google Ads, the average goes up to nearly $400. Pretty expensive, right? And then for organic, we've got a lot of samples across the board, but the average is $159. And we've got this one outlier at $1,500 per lead. They're a very specialized company where there's not a lot of demand for their stuff, and so that skews the number higher. But in general, that's what we're looking at for organic. And so this chart to me, like I've been saying these things for a long time, that I like to prioritize SEO and Google Maps, like the organic search. And the reason I always say that is because leads that come in organically are much higher quality than leads that come in through advertising. And the reason is simple. Like the majority of people seem to be like me. I'm looking for a remodeling contractor. I'll type in something like remodeler near me. And as soon as I see the word sponsored or I sense that I'm looking at an advertisement, I just skip it. You know, I pay YouTube Premium so that I can skip the YouTube ads. When I'm on Facebook or something, like I just skip over the ads. It's become second nature to me over the last, 20 plus years of using the internet. And so I skip the ads and I go down to as soon as the organic search results start, because over the years, Google has taught me that it's really good at showing me the best search results. But the ads always get in the way. So I skip the ads, I go down to Google Maps because Amazon taught me to shop online based off of the number of reviews I see. So when I look at these companies, the first thing I notice is that this company's got more reviews than these two. And my brain also quickly made the determination that these two are really close. And so I look at this one first, I look at that one second, and then I might look at that one third. And this is how most people shop. So they'll read the reviews, they'll go to the website, they might even type the name of the company in. This is especially true for larger remodels, additions, like whole home renovations, custom home builds. When it's a huge ticket, this is probably one of the most expensive things this person's ever purchased. They do a ton of homework. They'll type in the name of these companies and read about them. They want to know who these people are before they ever call. They're doing their shopping online. So by the time that they call, they're already very committed to working with you. They've already done their homework. They really want it to work out with you. And you compare that to somebody who comes in through ads. If I did the same search and I'm an ad clicker, then I might click on one of these, read their reviews, and Google doesn't give me the option to go to a website. So I'm just gonna call them. And typically people who come in through ads, their form of due diligence is they want to get you and a few of your competitors to come bid the project, and then they'll take the bid they like best, oftentimes the lowest price. So this is where the price shoppers live. Price shoppers aren't going to do a bunch of homework and then only call one company. That's what I would do, because I don't want to have 1 million people in my home. I don't want to talk to a bunch of different companies. I'm the kind of person who I'd rather find the best option online, and maybe have a backup. So when people come through ads, they're just typically less serious, especially when you get down to Google ads. So Google ads are these guys right here. People are even less serious typically, because there's not even any reviews here. There's nothing to really judge. There's no judgments being made online. I'm just clicking and calling. So this experience through my own marketing and through marketing for a bunch of other companies is that we like to prioritize the organic search first. And in this sample, organic search is on average slightly more expensive than local services ads. But if you took this outlier out, it would also be the cheapest way to get leads. So in the long run, what I typically see is organic is the cheapest cost per lead, and it's the highest quality lead source. The downside is that it takes time to achieve that. With advertising, you're competing with your money. Like, most of it is you're just competing with your money. So if you're willing to spend more, you're going to outcompete the other companies. With organic search, it's all about being better than them. Like, you have to have a better online presence. You have to have a better website, have better reviews, more reviews. If you can achieve those things and at least appear better online organically, you're gonna reap the rewards. So the order I usually go is we hit organic first, the lead quality is the highest. Over time, it's usually the cheapest as well. But you hit a cap. You can't just spend more money on organic and get more like you can with advertising. So the second layer that we add on top is local services ads. So buying calls directly from Google, it's typically cheaper than Google ads. And you get to take advantage of those reviews that you've been getting to have some way to compete against the other companies. Even in local service ads, like this company's got 125, this one's got 60. I guarantee these guys get more calls than these guys. That's just the way that it works. If this guy had 5 reviews, he would never get any calls. But that said, it's very low risk, because that method of advertising, you only spend money if you get a call. So if you don't get any calls, no money spent. So it's very low risk. I recommend pretty much everybody doing it. If you need more leads, local services ads is a pretty safe way to go. You do have to watch out. I work with a company that does custom home building, and you don't get a lot of control with local services ads as far as like what type of leads you get. You can select custom homes, or actually the category is home builder. So you say, okay, I want home builder leads, but that counts manufactured homes, that counts tract homes, cheap builds. So if you're like them and you only do high-end custom homes, then you have to sift through the leads you don't want to get to the ones you do want. But usually it's worthwhile, because even if only 1 out of 10 of the local services ads leads are the ones you want, if you're paying $50 a call, you're spending $500 per good lead, it's probably still worth it for you. If it takes you 10 leads to close $1 million custom home build, that means it costs you $5,000 to acquire that client. It's probably well worth it. If I was building custom homes, I would happily spend $5,000 to get a client anytime. So that's the order that we typically go. Quick note, if you're running Google ads, you should be running branded searches. So what that means is, if the name of your company is Kyle Construction, then you want to be bidding when people type in the name of your company, Kyle Construction. And this is just one example here, but this company's spending about $450 for kitchen remodel leads. They're spending about $150 on branded leads, meaning people are actually typing in the name of their business. Now, you might think like, oh, it's silly to have to spend money on leads that were already looking for you. But the thing is your competitors are bidding on those things too. A lot of companies will bid on their competitor names and try to scoop leads out from under them. So it's just an easy, no-brainer thing to do. Is when someone types the name of your company and you're running ads, you want your ad to show up, you want your Google profile to show up, you want your website, like you want to be everything that shows up on that page as much as possible. And Google gives you a huge discount on bidding for your own name because you are by far the most relevant search result for that. And that's a big factor when it comes to, how much Google charges you for this stuff. Another quick note, when I'm doing all this data analysis and just in my day-to-day, we monitor leads coming in for over 150 websites every day. And so we get to see when those leads are spam or scammers or whatever, bots. And about a third of form fills across the board are bots. Vendors, people selling stuff, maybe marketers testing. We test all the time to make sure forms are working. And so that's just something to keep an eye on. If you're running a successful remodeling company, chances are you're paying someone else to do your marketing. So it's good to check in with them and make sure that they aren't counting all of those bots and scammers and stuff as total lead count, because that's going to completely skew your numbers. We always go through and we try to block those at the front end, but sometimes they still get through. So when we go and we count leads, like in the situation like today, running this analysis, I manually look at each contact form and make sure that it was legit, so I can filter out the bad ones. So if you're not doing that, make sure you are, just so you know the truth about your own numbers. And yeah, I think there we go. If you're a remodeling company, this is what you can expect to spend. If you are spending something dramatically different than these things, more or less, hopefully less. If it's less, give yourself a pat on the back, something's working, and also you might just be in a less competitive area. If you're spending dramatically more than that, you might want to talk to me. You can find the link in the description of this video. Fill out a form, talk to me. I do 20-minute calls with just about anybody where I take a look at your company, your market, and your competitors, so I can see what would it take for you to win. And I do those every day, so if you're interested in having me take a look, check it out. If you have any questions about this, throw them in the comments. If you want to throw your own numbers in the comments and help your fellow contractors get even larger sample size, do so if you will, and thanks for watching.